Hey, nice to have you with us again. Tuesday, and time for us to look at things legal. We did a show like this a while back, I can't remember how many weeks back, based on questions that you had sent to legal@mansfieldtoday.com. And we got a huge amount of feedback from that, people saying they loved the show and please could we do more of those sort of shows. I think there are a lot of questions that you may have that you want Advocate Lance Brogden to answer, and that's why he's sitting in the hot seat to get, as usual today. Nice to see you again, Lance.
You too, Jim. Great to see you.
Right, let's go delve into these questions. Anonymous. That's the embarrassing thing about this part of it, is I need my glasses. Anonymous. What are the basic types? I don't even know the different types of antenuptial contracts. Are there different types of antenuptial contracts?
Yeah, Jim. So let's first say, let me simplify it. So when you plan to get married, and we've had this chat before, you set in place a contract that's actually a divorce contract. It's what will happen if the marriage dissolves down the line. So the first one is where you come together and you don't bring in your community. So it's excluding community of property. There aren't any, and also you exclude the accrual. The assets, the money, the pleasures that come to you in life once you're married. It excludes those. That's the first one. The second one would be where, which is the most common one I think to me, is where you come in and you both come in with what you bring in stays your own. So when you and I are getting married next month, Jim.
Yes, yes, of course.
You can keep the portion and I'll keep the castle in Spain. But you come in like, and then, however, then you have, so you keep you have the accrual system. So, and then everything you accrue together thereafter becomes for the joint. The last one is that you do both. Especially very young people, and they don't really have assets or assets of value yet. You come together, everything is thrown in the pot, and everything you make, you share on together. I think important, people say, well, okay, so what if I didn't have a contract prior to getting married? It must be prior to getting married, okay? And a lot of other little things, within 3 months of it having been signed, you have to have it registered, etc. But if you don't at all, then it just means you automatically marry in community of property. Everything comes in. If you don't have a contract, that's what it is. One quick thing as well, don't think you can just change it after a marriage. Okay, after the marriage is consummated, you can, but it's vastly expensive and you have to have very good reasons for doing that. So you might not get away with it at all. So it must be done before you get married.
Okay, question from Andre Boerses in the Western Cape. Who or what is the ombudsman? You always hear this, yeah. You got a problem? Go speak to the ombudsman. Who's this oak?
Okay, so this person is a person, but there are many of them. So it's a public official who is brought in place to act as a referee and to help when two parties are at loggerheads, cannot agree, then an ombudsman comes in. But it's very important because the ombudsman, for example, with the financial, the FSCA, the Old Financial Services Board, is a different ombudsman to the one involved in certain other matters, criminal matters, etc., or family matters. So it's a public official that is neutral, and they are generally neutral, and you put your cases there and try and accelerate to solve the process without extensive litigation. Very important. It's quite a good idea to put it in any contract or agreement here. Put the ombudsman in there. It's less expensive than many other routes.
I've got to use this one. From Aldo Benetti on the East Rand.
Aldo Benetti, there's a name.
No, and Lance, listen to this, man. We get some crazy stuff that comes across here. Do you think that my wife will be unhappy if I adopt my 4-year-old son's 23-year-old babysitter, Crystal?
Okay.
Over to you, Advocate.
Jim, I don't think this is a legal question. I will rather ask you, Aldo, if you like your testicles where they are right now, don't bring that up. I'm not going to say anything else.
Mail from Hungry Vegan Lady. If my next door neighbour's fruit tree has branches hanging in my garden, does the fruit on the branches belong to me or my neighbour? It's a very good question.
Yeah, it is. A good question for a vegan. Right, so this goes back to old Roman Dutch law, and it's actually quite clear. So, a couple of things around this. So, if the fruit is still on the branch and hanging over into your garden, the fruit belongs to the tree, and the tree belongs to your neighbour where it is in the ground and in your neighbour's home. If the fruit falls off into your garden, it's yours. But so that's about as simple as that. However, my proposal is, in good neighbourliness, which I don't think we do enough of anymore, is chat to your neighbours. Say, listen, these peaches are coming over there into my garden. Do you mind if we pick the ones on this side? And good luck, because I guarantee he or she would say yes. The other question that also goes with this, and if I may add to it, so if these branches are hanging over, and let's say they hang over into your swimming pool or compromised, what do you do about that? Can you just chop them off? Well, there is a process to follow. First process, go speak to your neighbour. Say, look, I'm having a bit of an issue. These are hanging in my pool, the leaves are falling in my pool, the fruit, whatever it may be. Would you be so kind as to trim your tree back? If the person doesn't, okay, and you've asked nicely because it's hanging over your space, over your earth, you can then do so. But try and avoid any conflict here. The person shouldn't be unhappy. They're not having the fruits of the tree. It's hanging in your garden. So, but follow a procedure. Don't just randomly go and chop branches down. Okay, it comes with certain unhappiness and conflict unnecessarily.
And also beware of the person who's holding the chainsaw at the time.
Yeah.
This is from Brian O'Farrell. If I'm caught speeding while rushing to an emergency, is that an acceptable excuse? Good question, Brian.
Yeah, it's a very complex one. As a rule, no. If you're caught speeding, you're speeding. Unless you are a public officer, in other words, you are working on a doctor on the way to a hospital, or you are a traffic officer, or you going to attend to a crime matter, or an ambulance driver. No, it's not in itself not an excuse. However, it is taken into consideration when the time comes when you appear. So, if it's the case, but don't speak crap. Okay, if don't make something up. If it's real and you have supporting documents or proof, or you have a child traumatized at school, make sure you get an affidavit from the teacher that asked you to come there urgently, etc. I'm not saying you'll get away with it. But it is taken into consideration. But answer is no.
Okay. Killer van Skalkwyk. Ooh, yes.
Killer.
Yeah. Is there such a thing as a citizen's arrest? Well, Killer, if you were going to make a citizen's arrest with a name like that, I'd just say, I'm guilty, arrest me.
Okay. Killer. This is something that is misunderstood, and people think it's only in America where you can do citizens' arrests, and in Europe. No, it's valid here. You can do a citizen's arrest. There's no doubt about it. But there are a couple of conditions. You can't just go and arrest somebody that's annoying you. One, you must see it. Jeremy can't come to me and said, I saw some guy doing something around the corner, then I jump in there because I think I'm Rambo. No, you have to actually physically see something happening, and there has to be something really at risk. It must be something serious. And together with that you can't use more force than required. So if you see two young women having a scrap in the street, and one's giving the other one a really good hiding, you can intervene and grab that woman, take her away, but you can't kick the crap out of her. I mean, you can't do that. You have to have a balance between what is going on and how to stop it happening.
Okay, last one, because we're running out of time right now. Is there a limit to what a lawyer can charge me for my legal services? This is from Crystal in Benoni.
Crystal, okay, so we had Aldo from the East Rand.
Yeah, I'm just wondering
if this same Crystal
Yeah, the babysitter's name was Crystal. Now we get a thing from Benoni saying, Crystal, is there a limit to what my lawyer can charge me for legal services? I don't know if there's a link here between the two.
Crystal, firstly, if it is you, my dear, and there is a link, I'll do it for free. But yeah, it's an interesting one. People say, oh, my lawyer screwed me with the price. Look at this price. Generally, and you should do that before you actually interface with the attorney. Although there are schedules of given fees and so on, the matter could be very complex. You're using a very senior person, very specialized person. Come to agreement on the fees and how they're done up front. You know, if you agree to an exorbitant fee and then you also lose the matter, then you say, God, look what he charged me, etc. I'm not going to pay this. Don't do that. Come to an agreement up front, something that works for both of you. And if it doesn't, get another attorney, get other legal representation. But there are guidelines as to what should be charged and could be charged. And there are often then tax means it goes to an independent body that says, yes, this is fair and equitable. But if you've signed and agreed to pay some crazy number, 10,000 Rand an hour, or part thereof, and I phone you and there's 10, then you've done it. Don't look carefully and come to a proper agreement that works for everybody.
Advocate Lance Brogden, as usual. Nice to have you in the studio.
Nice to be here, Jim.
Yeah.
Always good, my friend.
Good one. Lovely. And we'll catch up with Advocate Brogden once again next Tuesday, right here on Mansfield Today. Have a good day or evening, wherever you are. Cherry bye.
Cheers.